Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's had a fabulous weekend so far. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. And please, guys, before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, it'd be absolutely fantastic, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Now, look, you know what? Man United ain't playing for a number of days now. So what? We've got a little bit of a rest, haven't we? We've got a little bit of a respite in regards to, football at the moment. Because after that Leicester game, that did really take a lot out of a lot of people, didn't it? To be honest with you, the game was very, very dull. The game wasn't great. But you know what? We're getting there, guys. And, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty yet. And we have to be a little bit more patient. I've seen a lot of people now turning against the manager. Why are they turning against the manager so soon? I don't know. Maybe it's just PTSD. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's just some sort of, inability to have patience in life in general. I don't know. But they need to have a little bit of patience. It's only 3 months. We're talking about 12 years of normality, of underperformances, of basically something that it's been ingrained in Manchester United for the last 10 years, which is bad performances and, not implementing the tactics correctly and, moaning and off-field issues and stuff like that. But you know what? We're going to bring that to one side at the moment. We're going to talk about Manchester United, guys. And you know what? It is all about Manchester United, of course, this Sunday morning for me. Anyway, guys, let's get through some of your messages, guys, of course, guys. Big up, Rasta. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Next match, Spurs. We have to be prepared. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sanjay. Good morning. 88 likes already, guys. Can we get to 100 likes? Let's smash it up. Big up, fan. What's going on? You legend. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, man. Good to see everyone in the chat today. Absolutely. Brilliant to see everyone in the chat today, guys. So, look, let's get into it. Manchester United are in the market, of course. Look, you know what? I know it sounds a bit like, frustrating when we talk about transfers and we talk about players that could be coming to Manchester United. We should have had a couple of transfers. Well, we did have a couple, didn't we? But we should have had more in January, of course. But the summer is when we truly measure Ineos. Okay, I'll say this right now because the summer is when, January was a transfer window. But in reality, the summer's when business really gets done. And Ruben has had like a semi sort of window at the moment. So the summer is when he's really going to get his players in. We hope he's going to get his players in. Now, there's a number of players that are going to be linked to Manchester United that you may have not heard of course, and some people may have not heard of, and they will be more of a value type of player. Now, look, that means looking in Germany, looking at various teams, looking at teams other than Bayern Munich and stuff, looking in Spain, looking in Portugal for the next up-and-coming player. And of course, let's see what happens in the summer. We could spring a surprise. You never know. But there are a number of names that are still on that Manchester United wish list that have been there since last summer. And Manchester United are still interested in those players. Of course, one of those players is Jamie Gittens. Jamie Gittens is an England player, plays for England under 21. He is a 20-year-old left winger. And as a player that has captured the attention of Manchester United over the last year or so, I did mention Gittens in the summer, if people remember. If you were here, I remember, you remember I mentioned Gittens in the summer. Manchester United are very interested in Gittens, an England international player, currently plays for Borussia Dortmund, of course. It's an England under 21 international. Currently plays for Borussia Dortmund. His contract expires in 2028. He is around 50 million euros market value. So, you know what? The price is a little bit high. Chelsea are interested in the player. Manchester United are interested in the player. It is measured that there will be a 60% chance that Gittens will leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer. And Manchester United are interested in the player. Of course, Chelsea are one of those teams. You know what? They do the business quickly. So we're going to have to be a little bit more mobile when it comes to players in the summer, because Chelsea are going to be up and ready for it. Of course, Chelsea have to buy Sancho. So Jadon Sancho was heavily criticized last night by various Chelsea fans, of course. Or we could have told them that from the beginning. We could have told them about Jadon Sancho. We could have told them that he plays when he wants to. Of course. Bear me a second. He plays when he wants to. And that's the problem with Jadon Sancho, There you go. And we could have told them that from the beginning. But Jamie Gittens is a player that Manchester United are interested in, high on the radar. British, of course. Ineos want that. Of course, it helps with FFP, etc., etc. So they are interested in this player, as I said in the summer. But the news has resurfaced that Manchester United are inquiring about the possibility of acquiring Jamie Gittins in the summer, guys. What do you think about that? Absolutely. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Good morning, Mr. Mia. What's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Kazi. Good to see you, mate. Edison linked with United different in the summer. If you want defensive, some bit of Ventani, Calaveras, I know is free. Vitinha. GK, you just throw names out there. We're not interested. Absolutely. Irfan, big up. Absolutely big up. Big ups, everyone, of course. Interested FC. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait until the summer, won't we? And to say, I would like United to reconsider buying players from clubs who are not regular first 11, even if I have a problem with the club or making. I would advise Man United to buy English players from England, not English players. I mean Premier League based players, because at the end of the day, that's what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do to build the spine of the team. You know, I like Jamie Gittins. I think he's a fantastic player, a fantastic prospect. Under 21 player as well. Kind of regular for Dortmund. If you look at his appearance levels for Borussia Dortmund at the moment, he's worth a lot of money, and he has been playing, you know what, quite a lot for Dortmund, you know, this season. So I agree with that. I do agree with that we do need to buy players that are regular, that are getting there. Either the next big thing, like, you know, without doubt, is going to be a superstar, or someone who is experienced. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I do believe Man United should buy players from the Premier League. A few more, not all, but a few more, just to add that spine. Because the Premier League is a different kettle of fish, of course. But Jamie Gittins, great player, left winger, of course, for Borussia Dortmund. And he is one that, you know what, is going to capture the attention of a lot of teams over the next few months, of course. So we're going to have to act a little bit quick when it comes to that. Of course, the summer is when it's all going to happen. The summer is when Man United are going to have to do their business. The summer is when we're ultimately going to be judging Ineos. We have to, you know, at the end of the day. And, you know, what I would say is that, you know, they are on fraud watch. They are on fraud watch. And we have to watch out for them. You know what I mean? Because Ruben Amorim hasn't really been backed. When you look at January, I mean, we got Dorgu through the door. That is not backing. That is just one player, you know. And Man United needed a number player, considering we got rid of Anthony and we got rid of Rashford, you know, and Mason Mount's not playing, Casemiro's not playing, you know, Malassia's gone on loan to PSV. Considering that, you know what, he did need some cover in there, you know. And now, look, we ain't even got a backup left back, you know. We got makeshift left backs and stuff like that. So I would say that, you know, he needed more support, and he hasn't had the support that he deserves so far, in my opinion. I'll be honest with you guys, he hasn't. And to be honest with you, the summer now, I'm judging Ineos. And if they do not deliver in the summer, then I don't care what the situation is in regards to Europe. You know what? Their intention is pretty clear then, isn't it? It's pretty clear. Now, let's get on to another player, guys. Another player that Manchester United are very interested in. Let me just get through Irfan's comment first. Liverpool and United used to raid the Premier League's best players, but since then, exuberant prices changed that. Still envy Liverpool for buying good players in the EPL. Lots to come to mind. Liverpool are, I mean, thanks to Jurgen Klopp, by the way. Thanks to Jurgen Klopp, his eye for talent was absolutely fantastic. Buying players at cheap levels as well. Bringing through players like Javier and Jones and players like that. Brilliant at bringing through players as well. They've done really good at bringing through players over the last years. Liverpool have always done that, of course, as well. You know, that is very important in regards to the way Liverpool do things. But Liverpool are better run football club than us. They are a better run football club. That's pretty obvious way Liverpool are performing in the league, in the Champions League, etc. They are better than us. You know what I mean? And in every sense of the matter, we have Ineos and we have the Glazers. Probably the worst ownership in football, if you're going to be honest. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, we're unlucky. We are unlucky. Only team that I feel that comes close to Man United in regards to ownership is probably Tottenham and Arsenal in a way. Absolutely. Liverpool didn't have the United tax. Liverpool don't have the United. Absolutely, Darren. That's a big fact. You know what I mean? And the reason we got the United tax is because of the Glazers. The Glazers are the ones that, you know what, created this United tax, created the, you know, the illusion that we are super, super rich. And then, you know, but we're actually in debt. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. because we pay up, don't we? They play us for fools. We pay up and we show our hand in the market. And unfortunately, if you show your hand in the market, you're going to have your pants pulled down, basically. That's what's going to happen. And that's what Man United do, in the market. They chase a player all summer and then they say, oh, we're not going to be held to ransom. We're not going to pay it. And then they end up paying it anyway. And then when other teams see that, they say, look, you know what? Just stay calm with Man United. They'll pay in the end. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And then we end up paying astronomical amounts of money more than him, of course. Yes, Klopp brought through good players, bought from Wolves and Southampton. Yeah, and you remember he brought through Robinson from Hull, and he's brought through players that, you wouldn't even know before, but they became good. You know what I mean? Obviously, Jota came in as well, who's done very well in regards to a squad player. I mean, there are the odd one, Darwin Núñez. You can argue that is a little bit, but you're going to get that anyway. You're going to have players that, somehow don't quite live up to the expectations. But look at Mohamed Salah. Everyone, when Liverpool signed Mohamed Salah, people were looking at Mohamed Salah and saying, oh, my goodness me, he came from Roma, he fouled at Chelsea, he went to Liverpool and he became the best player in the world. In my opinion, he should win a Ballon d'Or, Mohamed Salah. In my opinion, I think he's so underrated in regards to that. But what Jurgen Klopp did with Mohamed Salah was incredible, in my opinion. Just imagine we didn't have the Glazers tax. Just imagine Real Madrid is years ahead. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just imagine we didn't have them. Just imagine Ineos didn't go to bed with the Glazers. Just imagine they didn't they didn't facilitate the Glazers. Just imagine that happened. Hyperphagy is a very strong thing in Manchester United world, isn't it? At the end of the day, just imagine that, they didn't come into the football club in the first place when we were incredibly rich anyway, and we didn't need them. We accumulated our own money. We could have bought any player in the world. I mean, just imagine this, right? Man United, with this ownership, with the dividends, with 1 billion taken out of the club, are still got money. And can you imagine that they didn't come into the football club and put a loan on our football club that we didn't need? I mean, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and it's strange, isn't it? And they haven't paid a penny of their own money as well. Man United was so rich when they came in. Their eyes just lit up. Absolutely. And this is an example of life. You know what I mean? This is an example of, look at them, who they are, where they're from, who they are, where they're from. And you get to know the real enemies in this world. Absolutely. Who thought Andy would have been such a good left back for Liverpool? Andy, well, exactly, but that is great scouting, isn't it? It's great scouting. You know what? One thing I would say about Liverpool, the Liverpool fan base, they're very supportive. They're not impatient like our fan base. They're very supportive, and our fan base are very knee-jerk reaction type of fan base. And you know what? It's a more relaxed sort of supportive atmosphere at Anfield. I mean, and I've been a number of times to watch Man United, and they're just fully on supporting the team. At Old Trafford, it's like this air of tension going around that, you can't quite put your finger on it, but it's tense. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard to really, perform in that atmosphere, because there's so much wrong about Man United. A little bit like the way Liverpool were in the 90s, when you think about where Liverpool were and in the early turn of the century. It's when Klopp came in, he turned the club back around and he turned it into a really good vibrant place. And you know what? From top to bottom, the atmosphere was fantastic, of course. We'll get there. Ineos really can't do anything. Glazers are majority shareholders. Yeah, they are. But why did they come into the first place? If they can't do anything, why did they facilitate the Glazers? The Glazers had to sell the football club. If Ineos were not there, the Glazers would have sold the football club because Ineos could not, because the Glazers could not afford the stadium. They could not afford the rebuild of the football team. They could not afford the restructuring of the academy and the infrastructure in general. They could not afford it. So the Glazers would have left if Ineos was not there. So they were looking for a buyer. So Ineos facilitated them. If Jim Ratcliffe, let's say, was a proper Man United supporter, he would have stepped aside. He wouldn't have come into the football club and put up his vanity project, which it is, of course, which is why they're only concentrating on the stadium now, not actually what's going on the pitch, because they want to put their name all around the stadium. That's what they want to do at the end of the day. It seems that the Glazers don't treat debt as theirs. They don't, because it's not, Darren. It's not their debt. It's not their debt at the end of the day. You know what? They played a blinder. Imagine someone said this to you, right? You can obtain the biggest football club in the world and you don't even have to pay a penny, and you take dividends from that football club, and you can take as much money off it as you want, like milking a cow. That's what it basically is. Imagine someone said that to you. You wouldn't have to pay a fee. So basically what they've done, they got a loan. They bought the football club. They serviced that loan by the profits from Manchester United. So they didn't pay a penny of their own money. And with the dividends, you know, and the profits of Manchester United, they'll take, you know what I mean, and distribute bits to Manchester United, you know, and that's what they've been doing. And to be honest with you, not spent a penny of their own money, you know. Now, when it starts to get a little bit bleak, when they need to think about building the stadium, when they need to think about rebuilding the squad, they're like, oh, damn, we got no money. We got no money. And when they've got that, when they're like that, you know, it's like, you know, they want to sell up. And then what happens? Jim Ratcliffe comes along. It's a bit like, you know what, having bad neighbors, right? It's a bit like having bad neighbors, right? And these neighbors have been making noise for like months and months or years. They're making all this noise and racket. And you go, oh, these neighbors, they're so annoying. They're so noisy. I can't stand these neighbors. They're so noisy. And then suddenly you see a for sale sign up outside their house. And you're like, yes, they're finally going to leave. Thank God they're going to leave. And then Jim Ratcliffe pulls up and gives them some money to stay. That's what it's like. You know what I mean? That is exactly what it's like. And gives them some money to stay. And you're like, oh, my God, Lord, for goodness sake. You're like that at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, they facilitate the Glazers. And for me, I would give them capital punishment in regards to my judgment of them. It's capital punishment for me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm going to judge them to the harshest way possible. Because at the end of the day, you facilitated the enemy. You know, you slept with the devil. For me, that is what they've done. You know what I mean? Let me just write this tweet. Yeah, so that is what it is. That is basically what it is. So, guys, yeah, look, you know, we hope it gets better. We hope that they, you know what, the lie, they have told lies. They're going to buy the football club, etc., etc. At the end of the day. So, it's crazy, isn't it? So, what type of shares did Ineos buy? I believe they bought Class B shares, 25%, something like that of Class B shares, if I'm not mistaken. 25% of Class A shares, I believe, and some Class B shares. If you know, you know. It's what the rich elites do. They never use their own money. Yeah, exactly. They don't. And that's not what Manchester United wanted. That's not what Manchester United are. And we didn't need that, you know. So we're going to hate them. Of course we are. They're an enemy of the football club. And anyone who thinks that Ineos and feels sorry for Ineos, I question your allegiance to Manchester United. Because at the end of the day, if you're sleeping with the enemy, you're the enemy. At the end of that is what life is at the end of the day. Exactly. Darren, out of the money sale should have been paid debt for greedy. But absolutely, mate. I mean, where's that billion gone, Darren? Where's that billion gone? It's gone straight into their pocket, hasn't it? The billion from Ineos has gone straight into their pocket. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, you know what? Just greedy. They should be banned from England. They should be banned. They shouldn't be allowed to buy anything. They're looking for the land project around Manchester United, around Old Trafford. They're looking to get that money from the government, the English taxpayers' money, right? English taxpayers' money. These dirty, greasy guys have come over and they want to take the money from the English taxpayer. English people pay enough tax as it is, probably the most tax in Europe. Do you know what I mean? You know what? The great people of England have to pay so much tax. You know what I mean? When I was living in England, I was paying £1,000 a month in tax. £1,000 a month in tax, which is about nearly $2,000, guys. Do you know what I mean? In tax. You know what I mean? And for what? For what? At the end of the day, you know, I didn't use it. I never went to the hospital, never went to the doctors, touch wood and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they're coming in and they're going to take the government, the taxpayers' money. It's going to buy this land, build houses and hotels, whatever, on top of it. And it's going to be owned, and the money's going to... Yeah. You know that Ratcliffe offered the Rats to buy all of their 67% of the shares. Luca, at the end of the day, there was a lot of hearsay, a lot of talk in regards to what Ratcliffe was going to do, what Ratcliffe wasn't going to do. At the end of the day, there's a lot of talk, and I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So Ineos is just a glorified ordinary shareholders. Yeah, basically, they're the major. They're like the second majority shareholders, Class B, Class A shareholders. At the end of the day, look, there's nothing that is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of word and PR around Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe. You know what I mean? 25% is 25%. At the end of the day, they don't own the majority of the club. The Glazers still own the football club, thanks to Ineos, and that is a fact. At the end of the day, thanks to Ineos, this is it. Qatar offered to buy the full football club, the full football club. You know what I mean? The bloody the whole shebang, basically. You know what I mean? And they would have bought the whole thing, and they would have built the stadium. The bulldozers would have already been out there right now, building the new stadium. There would have been a new squad. Everything would have been different right now. Vibes would have been much more better, of course. But it is what it is. What we have is what we have at the moment. You can't buy it with what someone doesn't want to sell. The Rats didn't want to sell. They didn't want to sell. They had to sell Luca. They didn't want to sell because Jim Ratcliffe facilitated them, Luca. He facilitated the Glazers. He facilitated them. Glazers wanted to leave. This is someone connected to the club. I know lots of people at the football club. This is an absolute fact. The Glazers were about to sell the football club for the highest bidder. That's what they were going to do until Ineos came in and facilitated with their vanity project. That's what happened. Now, you can tell already that Ineos are not interested in what's going on the football pitch completely. They're more interested in the vanity of it. And that is what we see. The great Man United fans around the world know this, 99.9%. You know what I mean? Know this. That Man United, didn't need Ineos. They needed, unfortunately for Manchester United, they needed a full buyout, and the Glazers gone. That's what they needed. And Qatar were willing to do that, but Ineos came along and facilitated them and gave them an enticing offer. That's what it is. And with a minority shareholder thing. Now, if Jim Ratcliffe was a Man United fan, it's a lie. He's not a Man United fan. I know that for a fact he's not. I mean, ask Jim Ratcliffe to post a picture of himself in a Man United jersey before he purchased the club. Ask him to say, why has he got a Chelsea season ticket and not a Man United season ticket? Why is that? What is going on there then? You know what I mean? Is it the caviar? What is going on at the end of the day? It's crazy. Darren, do you think Qatar will come back in the future? I don't think so, Darren. I don't think so. The way that we disrespected Qatar, the lies that were spread around Qatar, that Jake Jassim doesn't exist. I went on Qatar television, Darren. I know that he does exist. Just because he doesn't flaunt himself in front of the media and act like a media, you know what I mean? The people said that he doesn't exist. He does exist. At the end of the day, he's pretty known here in the Middle East where I live. And at the end of the day, what they did is disrespect the nation of Qatar, and they, I don't think Qatar will come back at the moment. That's what it looks like. They've been disrespected at the end of the day. No one should be really looking at Ineos with blindly supporting Ineos. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what they've done to this football club, and facilitated our enemy at the end of the day, which they did. You know what? I doubt your allegiance to the club, honestly, if you back them at the end of the day. Now, guys, let's get into some more transfer news in regards to players that Manchester United, are looking at in the summer, of course. There's a player who plays for Eintracht Frankfurt, guys. His name is Hugo Larsson. Hugo Larsson is a 20-year-old central midfielder who's already got caps for Sweden, 8 caps for Sweden in all. He would set us back around 35 million euros, obviously about 30 million pounds, 29 million pounds, something around that level. He is a highly talented young player from Sweden, and his contract will run out in 2029. His highest market value is around 35 million euros. It is indeed. The guy who started off at Malmo, he started off at the big club of Malmo, of course, and was purchased by Eintracht Frankfurt for 1.5 million euros back in 2022, has gone from strength to strength. He's done very well at Eintracht Frankfurt, and it's a player that we are very interested. Now, the reason I bring in these names to you guys right now is that so we can look in the summer, and when you get these players, if we do sign some of these players, I broke Dorgu on here. I was the first one to do it. And you know what? When we do start talking about these players, in the summer, you're going to go, I heard it on Stretford Post. Just so you know, guys. So I'm just reporting what players we are interested in. Whether we sign those players, whether we don't sign those players is another thing completely. 2 different things, 2 different scenarios, of course, guys. 2 different scenarios. But it is a player that Manchester United are interested in. 20 years old, already a Swedish international, of course, guys. Already a Swedish international. Hugo Larsson, guys. Look out for Hugo Larsson. He is, of course, where is Tyberg? Tyberg's obviously from Frankfurt, of course, so he can obviously tell you guys about Hugo Larsson, of course, guys. Absolutely. Qatar can only come in if Glazers offer another stake in United, and if they buy out all the minority shares, it's a bit of work. Yeah. So the Glazers positioned them quite well to hold on to United. Yeah, the Ineos have facilitated the Glazers and given them such a juicy basically initiative in regards to the football club, because they are in line to make 10 billion in the next 10 years, something like that. Do you know what I mean? So obviously then now that what's come to light is the land around Old Trafford as well. You know, thank you Ineos for keeping our enemy there, of course, guys. Absolutely. I've been red since '84. My first game was when we are the second division, and you doubt my allegiance to the club. I doubt people's allegiance to the club who are supporting the facilitation of the enemy, which is the Glazers. It doesn't matter if you've been supporting United since 1909 or 2009. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. At the end of the day, Man United needed a full sale. Glazers are the enemy, and that is the way it is. At full sale, I don't care how long you've been supporting the club. I know the biggest fans. I know people on the own branches at Man United. The Sale branch, for example, the closest branch to Old Trafford, I'm close with. Most of those guys don't support Ineos. Just like the Glazers, should Jim say? Just like the Glazers, should Jim say? Do you think they sing that at Fulham? Do you think they sang that at the Man United game for fun? Good morning, Tybog. Speak of the devil. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I hope you're good, my friend. Absolutely. Good to see you. I was just speaking about your player, Tybog, Hugo Larsson. The minority shares can be bought out, but then it's in terms of value, and it's a long and tedious process, bearing in mind the willing seller and buyer access to each shareholder as well. At the end of the day, we had a chance to sell the club, and Jim Ratcliffe facilitated. That's the bottom line here. Absolutely. Luca, I'm not talking about you directly. Okay, let me tell you something. Look, I want Ineos to succeed. Okay, let me clear this up for you guys right now. Ineos, let me put it like this, right? I want Ineos to succeed, Luca. I love your name, by the way. I'm Italian wife and everything, but I want Ineos to succeed, okay? I want them to do well, because if they do well, Manchester United do well. That's what I want. All I'm pointing at is the facts of, in regards to what happened in this when Qatar were in for the club, that Ineos did facilitate the Glazers. Now, let's forget about that. Now, let me talk about, because I'm a sort of guy who gives praise where it's due. They had a good summer. Let's be honest. They had a good summer. They bought some good players, right? Now, at the end of the day, they've made mistakes. They're still making mistakes. But this was always going to happen. The problem is that we can't be overzealous with Ineos. We can't. And we can't be over pessimistic either. We have to be a little bit on the fence and say, look, you know what? They facilitated the Glazers. They gave our enemy a platform. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. Now, we have to watch what they do. The summer, Luca, if they go out and they go and smash it in the transfer market, support Ruben Amorim, and you know what? From there on, great. I hope they buy the full club. I hope they do, because I don't care whether it was Apple. I don't care whether it was Amazon. You know what I mean? I don't care who it was, as long as it was, or Elon Musk. I don't care, as long as it was a full sale. But let's see what Ineos do in the summer. Obviously, there are a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of things that can change in this football club. The problem I have is when I got people ringing me up on the phone, say they've been made redundant on 16 grand a year with a mortgage and a child. You know, that hits me, and that hits me hard at the end of the day. I know some people brush it off because they only think about, success of the football club. That's fine. At the end of the day, what, for 16 grand a year and saving 35 million over 3 years, it just doesn't come across as confidence for me. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that Ineos won't get to where they're gone, but I probably will be long gone before they do. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, like 7 years to build a stadium and this and that. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But you know what? Let's just hope that things change. Let's hope at the end of the day, glory, Man United, and we see what happens. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up, Tyborg. What's going on, Tyborg? By the way, yes, I've been talking about your player, Tyborg, Hugo Larsson. Hugo Larsson is on the radar of Manchester United, the Eintracht Frankfurt player. Tyborg, you may know a bit about Hugo Larsson, of course, 20-year-old Swedish international, central midfielder. Yes, see, absolutely. The laying off staff was really sad, as you highlighted. It is imperative. It is something disgusting, fan. It's not just really sad, it's disgusting. And you know what? Especially a club like Manchester United, who I was raised when I was a child, going to Old Trafford, taking pictures outside the Munich clock, you know, at the end of the day, 3:04 p.m., by the way. Yeah, I was going out there, going to Old Trafford. And you know what? Man United were always a family club. Every single person in that football club, you know what, played a crucial role. There's a very big story about the way Sir Alex Ferguson basically knew almost every person's name at the football club. And you know what, I've always learned in life that, you know, great managers know everybody. They know everybody. They know everybody by name, you know, etc. And because every single person in that football club plays a role in the football club. The way that Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe in particular comes across is very snobby, elitist, rich, kind of man that he says F them, you know what I mean? And this is why silence is obviously radio silence, as they call it. This is why the silence is deafening at the moment, the way they've been talking. And what I've always learned about silence is that when you got nothing good to say, you stay silent. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, some people don't practice that, but you know what? You know, people, when you got nothing good to say, stay silent. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, which is pretty difficult to do if you're being honest with ourselves, isn't it? To stay quiet and stay silent in regards to that. But guys, look, Man United don't play until we got, obviously, next week we got Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur is going to be a tough place. Tyborg, Larson is a very good at Eintracht, very young, but good enough. But the Premier League is very demanding. Not sure you could do well there. It's a tough one, isn't it, Tyborg? Thank you for giving me that absolute brilliant analysis, my friend. Really, really important, because Tyborg is from Frankfurt, guys. So when, you know what, I got a great community here from all around the world that, you know what, can tell us about certain players that Man United are interested in. And you know what, it is always going to be a risk, isn't it? You know, it's always going to be a risk. Jamie Gittins will be a risk. Jamie Gittins, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. Man United are interested in Jamie Gittins, the left-sided attacking midfielder, of course. So, you know, there's always going to be risk when you're going after young players, isn't it? There's always going to be that element of doubt when you're going after players like that at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So, thank you, Tyborg. Very, very important, of course. Now, look, there was a lot of fallout in regards to the Leicester City game. You know what? At the end of the day, the performance wasn't as great as what we wanted it to be. We got the win. We were lucky. I agree. You know, looking at the game back, the offside, Maguire. But then again, you could argue that Leicester City were offside as well. You know what I mean? You could argue that, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, that they were offside as well. So we were a little bit lucky in regards to the game, but there has been a lot of fallout in regards to Manchester United and the Leicester City game that we need to pick up performances. We know that. But you know what? Ruben Amorim has been here 3 months. You know what I mean? Can't expect miracles and play tiki-taka football at the moment. We need to obviously wait. At the end of the day, you can't pick up a football team from League One and tell them to play tiki-taka football. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, you can't tell James Beattie to become prime R9, if you know what I mean. If you remember James Beattie, big respect to James Beattie, but you can't do that, can you? You can't tell Peter Crouch to become Ronaldinho. It's just the way it is. If you haven't got the players to fit that system, it's just not going to fit, is it? United have a very special place in football and it can't be challenged, not disputed, even though we are not doing well. Its brand is what very corporate wants to be associated with. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the brand was the people. If you understand Man United was built by the people, the working class man and woman. The Man United, that's who Man United were built, not for greedy corporate figures to come in. And we were owned by the people for a long time. Unfortunately, the fallout with Rupert Murdoch and all that business with the horse, with Alex Ferguson stuff, created this big conundrum, you know, at Manchester United. And it should never have been allowed in the first place. Absolutely not. Hi, Sal. Let's face it, none of these feckers at this level, be it the Gimps, their own minions, or the Rat on and his own, give a monkeys about the club that we love. It's not a club to them. I mean, at the end of the day, people like have their own feelings about the football club. I mean, you know, people will look at things from not an emotional point of view. Like, I love this football club, JCF. I do. And I care only primarily about the football club. You know what? You can tell people who don't really love the football club, but they just follow the football club. Do you know what I mean? They just follow it for the sake of following it. Like when we talk about Ineos, they go around and around and around, but they won't hit the button who facilitated the Glazers. Duh. Hit the button like that. Do you know what I mean? They don't really want to go. They just go around, but this, because they don't tend to love it like we love it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And it doesn't matter when You support the club. It doesn't matter about how long you've been supporting the club. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it matters about what how you feel, how you fight for this football club. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? There are minions around that don't really follow it. They just see it as clout. They see us support Man United, and that's it. It's clout. At the end of the day, I've heard a lot of things in regards to that. Do you know what I mean? People saying this, people saying that, but the majority of people know what's going on at this football club, definitely. Big up LCD, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. So Jim getting rid of staff who earn peanuts only to keep paying players on high wages, and some of these players, because he's an elitist, SLD. He's an elitist. He's an elitist Mason, and if you know about Masons, you know what they do. At the end of the day, he's an elitist Mason that at the end of the day, you know what, doesn't give a hoot about Manchester United fans or anything like that. And that's what people have to understand, really have to clear their head with that he doesn't care about you. Trust me, he doesn't care about you at the end of the day. And that is what you must think, at the end of the day. As I said, what I've said in my streams before, in the Middle East, I come to the Middle East. In the Middle East, they build things. They build things. They make things happen. Over there, they don't. They knock things down. They destroy things as they're doing. Big up, Courtney. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Good to see Courtney back. Hope you're doing well. To be quite honest, I don't see myself supporting another club. It's like divorcing a 60-year-old. Who said this, fan? Who said that you can change your wife, you can change your job, but you can't change your football club? Who was that? Who said that? Who was that who said that? You can't change your football club. Absolutely not. It's impossible. You can't. Once you choose Manchester United, you can't change it. I've been supporting Man United since I was seven years old. Guys, you know what I mean? The late 80s, you know what I mean? A long time ago. I spent a lot of miles watching this football club, spent a lot of flight miles as well watching this football club, you know what I mean? And a lot of my time, you know what I mean? And doing night shifts as well. Absolutely. Can't remember one of our legends. What's that, mate? Who can't remember one of your legends? Who can't remember any legends, mate? I know every single Man United base player basically in history. I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, so if you wanna talk about legends, like, you know what I mean, I can go through them all if you want. I don't know what you mean though, fan. So I'm not gonna say. So at the end of the day, yeah, you know what? This is what it is. You know what I mean? I can come on this channel, I can start talking about legends all day without even a Google in front of me. I could talk about that at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And the history as well. So that is basically it. You know, I do my research. You know what I mean? I know people try to throw questions at me there. So some people throw questions at me. You know what I mean? What shares are we owned by? And then, bah, you know what I mean? I've got you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I do follow this football club. It's my life at the end of the day. Football is my life at the end of the day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I would like to get Jim Ratcliffe on the show, to be honest with you. I would love to get Jim Ratcliffe on the show and ask him some questions about Manchester United. I would really love that. If someone came in, if Jim Ratcliffe came on the show, I say, right, one-on-one interview, one-on-one. I urge him to come on the show and I will give him questions about Man United. And we can test his true allegiance to the football club, of course. You're asking who said that? I said that I can't remember. I'm asking if one of our legends who said that change your football club. I don't know if it was us or it's something else. Let me find out for you, fan. Yeah, no, I think it was. You can change your football club. You can change your wife, but not your football club. So who said that? Yeah, Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona. King Eric said that. Big up, fan. Thank you for that quote, by the way. Sal, it's a gym charity boxing match. Considering SLD that I was a kickboxer for 9.5 years, I would have to get extremely large insurance because he's a billionaire. And if I end up, you know what, him, I would have to pay out a lot of money. As long as there is insurance in it, I am a dangerous person. I'm sorry, guys, that is true. At the end of the day, as long as there is insurance in it, then I would be okay with that. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? If something happens to him, you know what? Sanjay, 100, there you go. Big up, Sanjay. Thank you so much. We're on 100 likes. That's incredible. Thank you so much, guys. You absolute legends. Winner. Damn, Eric Cantona. I mean, it only could be him. Eric Cantona, such a legend, guys. Absolutely. Love Eric Cantona. You know what? I posted a picture up on my Twitter, and I posted a picture up of Eric Cantona, and behind him was Nicky Butt. right? And Nicky Butt was watching Eric Cantona, who's on the pitch playing during a game. And it makes you realize the kind of characters that we had back then, the legends that we had back then, and the inspiration that we had back then for the young players to come in. This is why it's so different these days with the class of 92 and bring a few youngsters now. The class of 92 came in and they had people like Eric Cantona who were, listen, the guys, Eric Cantona played a pivotal role in the class of 92, a pivotal role. Anyone would tell you that in regards to their development. He taught them the art of football, the art of the winning and the grit, of course. Absolutely. Big up. But yeah, SLD. Don't toot my own horn, but you know what? I've been around the block, to be honest with you, and it would be not a good ending. It would be very bad, to be honest with you. It would be. Yeah. Ask about me, Bethnal Green, guys. Me or you know about Bethnal Green. Yeah, ask about me and Bethnal Green, KO. Bill Judd. Ask for Bill Judd. Yeah, so Bill Judd, the next champion kickboxer and stuff. Yeah, so I think that is what we're missing, characters. I agree, Irfan. Irfan, you're spot on, bro. At the end of the day, we missed that character. We missed those people who were they were just like, I don't know, they were extraordinary human beings back then. They were just, I don't know if this type of human being exists anymore. Do you know what I mean? It was just people who sacrificed themselves for the sake of the football club. They put the football club first. These days, players put themselves first. Regardless how they paint it up and make it look all pretty, they put themselves first. They put themselves first, regardless what they say about it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem these days. Eric Cantona loved the football club. He loved, Alex Ferguson, and he just wanted Man United to win. He retired, right? He retired when he could still play. You know what I mean? Because he felt like he couldn't give 100% anymore. Guys, we have players who don't give 30% and they're carrying on playing, taking a wage. You know what I mean? You think about that at the end of the day. You think about that, it's madness at the end of the day. No, but the sooner we get characters, they start getting red cards. Yeah, I mean, Cantona would have got a few red cards these days, definitely. It's a snowflake generation, unfortunately. You know what? I just feel like it's too soft these days. I think football's too soft. I think that football is a physical game and we should have a physical mentality to the game. I do believe that at the end of the day. I think that football has got way too soft, fan. You know what I mean? And I feel like back then it was brilliant. It was good. I don't agree with the stamping. I know there was a lot of stamping back then, in particular from Eric Cantona. Gareth Southgate would tell you that. And so will Jan Agafjortov as well. But you know what? I would say that, yeah, it was a much better then. There was a lot more competitive edge to then. You know what? I would say Swindon Town would come into the Premier League right now and win the Premier League. That is how football has regressed. How do modern footballers sleep knowing they don't play well with their bank account? They don't care. They just think about buying their new car. I tell you a little story, fan, right? I tell you a little story, bro. You know, one of my friends, his name was Aaron, right? I used to work with him in a corporate site in London. And his friend was a player called, he's Aaron as well, but Aaron Lennon, who's played for England and Tottenham. Now, they were both invited to a wedding, right? I think it was Aaron Lennon's relative, something like that, and cousin or something. And they went to this place where they sell wedding suits, right? And there was this wedding suit, and it was £900, English pounds, about $1,300, something like that, right? So it's about £900. And basically, Aaron, my friend Aaron, said to Aaron Lennon, I can't afford that. It's too expensive. Aaron Lennon, the footballer, said, you can't afford £900. You can't afford £900. He couldn't fathom the fact that my friend couldn't afford £900. He thought like £900 was like 9 cents, basically. That's basically what he was saying. He thought it was like that. That shows how out of touch footballers are with money, how out of touch they are of how much the ordinary person earns. They're so out of touch with reality of what football is and how much money they earn, how much money I earn and my friend earn and stuff like that. They were so out of touch. £900 for us is like nearly a month's flipping wages, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? It was like that. You know what I mean? So at the end, he couldn't believe that. He probably earned that in 5 minutes. Mad, isn't it? Hussein, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning from Nigeria. Big up Nigeria, massive. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Our team is a little bit shaky. We need to more work to stabilize the foundations. I say bring in the youngsters. We have several good ones. Hussein, yeah, Jamal, you know what? One thing I would say is that it's going to be a little bit treacherous if we bring the youngsters in because the problem that Man United are in right now is very toxic. And when the club is very toxic, it can do more harm than good. I agree. Some youngsters need to come in. I would give 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 50 minutes here, and then gradually build them up into what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do with Ronaldo and stuff. And we had a good atmosphere. You know, what I would do is just bring them in slowly, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes here, do that, and then slowly nurture them into the football team. I would like to see Aiden Heaven given some chances, some minutes. Shea Lacey, by the way, is back. Shea Lacey, of course, was injured. I'm a big fan of Shea Lacey. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's back, so he could be drifted into the squad and slowly get these players playing, you know, and then by next season, we will be ready. I don't see any problem with that. If Man United survive in the league, which they are, but if Man United win the next couple of games, they're safe. So then from then on, Man United should start playing youngsters, preparing for next season, Hussein. I agree with that. And that's what we should do. It will save us money. And obviously, it will be better for us long-term as well. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Courtney. Oh, yes, Eric and Eric in amount. Others had no nonsense attitude. Missed those days. I mean, I miss those. I'm so privileged to have seen these players, Courtney, play live. I'm so privileged that I've seen this happen. You know what? At the end of the day, you know, no messing around. You know, it was just a fantastic thing. And even when you think about Eric Cantona, you know, and the Kung Fu kick, right? All right, the Kung Fu kick, people could argue it was bad. It jeopardized our season in 94, 95. We lost the league title to Blackburn Rovers because we had Cantona suspended and stuff like that. But when you look back at that, it really epitomized what Man United were, that you do not mess with us. You don't mess with us, right, at the end of the day. And that resonated. That resonated. It's just like, we don't F with us. You know what I mean? You know, and we created this kind of fear around us. And I feel like that episode, even though it cost us the league in 94, 95, we went on to win the double the next season because of that. You know what I mean? Because we brought through the class of 92, of course. So because of that, we lost the league and those 5 margins, and then we brought through that. And then, you know what? I just felt like it was just so much better then. We're just such a force back then. Absolutely, Courtney. SLD. You know, football goes soft when they try to stop people celebrating. Absolutely, Sir Camden. Go sit down. You know, when you go to Old Trafford, watch this, right? They'll go, sit down, sit down, sit down. That's what they do, for goodness sake. You know, when players come and celebrate with the fans, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't understand what's wrong with that. It's crazy. You know what I mean? The fans are what make the football club. This is who we are. It's what makes the football club, of course. Irfan, good morning. Big up, big up, big up. We have players now who would rather sit on the bench and collect money than go somewhere else and play football. Thank you so much, Tyborg. There used to be competitive edge, isn't it, Tyborg? Good. Players who wanted to play, players who needed to play. I want to play. I want to play. These days, it's like, oh, I'm happy. I'm getting my 300K a week, 200K a week. That's all right. I buy a car at the end of the week. They don't really care. Their heart's out of it. They've left their heart on the shelf. They play just to play, but they go through the motions. That's all they do. They don't really play with their heart. On, like, literally with their heart at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'll tell you a little story, guys. You know what? You know, I watched a player called Mark Vivian Foe. Those who remember Mark Vivian Foe, God rest his soul. Played for West Ham. He was nearly signed for Manchester United. He played for Cameroon. And I went to a friendly game with my local club, which is Leyton Orient. They played Manchester City, by the way. Just lost to Man City, by the way. Luckily, at the end of the day. I went to that game, to this game between Leyton Orient and West Ham. And Mark Vivian Foe was playing. It was a friendly game. He was playing for West Ham. And he came to me and he said, I love this game. I love this game. He goes, like, I really love the game. I shook his hand and I said, you know what? You should have came to Man United. You should have come to Man United. He goes, I love this game like this. It's before Patrice ever said it. He goes, I love this game. And unfortunately, what happened to him a few weeks later, playing for the Cameroon, you know, passed away on the pitch. And, you know, that sticks in my head a lot. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, we had footballers back then who would give everything for the badge for football. And nowadays, it's like they'll give everything for the money. That's it. Well, they won't give everything for the money, but they want the money first. Then they might think about giving everything. That's the thing, what I would say. Big up, Tyborg. It would be nice if United 2 or 3 and up to put the youngsters on. It would be nice. Yeah, that would be good. But when are we ever 2-3-0 up, Darren? This is the problem. That, you know, and these days we're always fighting to the end, isn't it, Darren? Against Leicester City, we were lucky. You know, at the end of the day, we take that luck. You know, we deserve that luck. We've had bad luck against us for weeks and months and even years. You know what I mean? So we take that luck at the end of the day. But, you know, when are we ever 3-0 up? I mean, it's hard to, you know, even fathom Man United 3-0 up these days, of course. I would like to see we go back to certain management style, younger players living with your senior players. A player must have a certain skill set. You know what? Someone told me, Irfan, that, oh, times have changed. Times have changed. And you know what? I'll tell you a little story, right? You know what I mean? Alex Ferguson would knock on your door if you didn't follow orders. He would go to your house. If you were throwing a party, he would go to your house. He would drag you out of your house. You know what I mean? Players like Ryan Giggs and Lee Sharp back in the 90s used to do their partying and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I used to know one person who was at that party, Lisa Nash. I knew her very well. And to be honest with you, I used to know someone who was at that party. And basically, they would pull Alex Ferguson would knock on the door and say, right, you, come out. And he would grab all the players like that and they say, right, get out of it, go home. And some players are full. Some players will carry on. Ryan Giggs carried on. Lee Sharp fell, ended up in oblivion, playing for Sampdoria. Teams like that. And someone told me that this shouldn't be. Times have changed now. Times have changed. It shouldn't be like that. You know, times have changed now. Why? Why has times changed? What's happened to discipline? What's happened to accountability? What's happened to this? This is the problem in life today. This is the problem in society today. Accountability. You know what I mean? They always want to throw the blame at someone else. They always want to blame someone else. That's when they do. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. They never want to look at themselves in the mirror and say, look, we have to improve. I was crap. I'm crap. My attitude is wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not training hard enough. The manager's right. I'm not training hard enough. For example, Sancho. Instead of looking at himself in the mirror and saying you were bought for a 90-odd million, have you performed for Manchester United under 3 different managers? No, you haven't. You have to own it. Own it and say, look, I haven't performed. He's right. I need to do better. And my aim is to do better. Unfortunately, this is, you know, the problem in society today, that they do not take accountability for their own actions at the end of the day. Zach Sal, well said, brother. Thank you so much, Courtney. Big up yourself. Good morning, Sal. Good morning, Barman. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Sayers depth allowed him to be able to field almost an entire different team for the League Cup. We could afford to play without Cantona, and almost half the season we got suspended. But you remember, Irfan, no, we only had 15 odd players, Irfan. It wasn't like that. At the end of the day, it wasn't like that. You forget that we had Roy Keane, Peter Schmeichel, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Paul Parker, Dennis Irwin, Andy Cole, Mark Hughes. I mean, Andrei Kanchelskis, Ryan Giggs. It's a big difference, isn't it? You know, and who did we have on the bench? Who do we have on the bench? Chris Casper. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, Kevin Pilkington. You know, we had players like that on the bench. Maybe a Nicky Butt was on the bench. You know what I mean? And we didn't really have a squad that people are asking. We have more people in the squad today than then. He built that squad as well. We didn't spend loads of money on bringing these quality players in, like the likes of Ericsson and players like that who are seasoned internationals. It wasn't like that. Who was on the bench for Man United when we lost the league title? Look at the West Ham game. Now, I'm going to bring it up to you guys. Look at Man United 1, West Ham 1. Right? West Ham 1, Man United 1. Okay? I'm going to bring it up. West Ham 1, Man United 1. 1995. Okay, so we go here. We look at the team, and to be honest with you, you look at that team, right? Brian McClare, you know what I mean? So the team was here we go. So basically, we had Gary Walsh in goal. We had a teenager, Paul Scholes, on the bench, a teenager, right? We had Lee Sharp and Nicky Butt. That's it. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Nicky Butt, Roy Keane, and that's a bit. We had a small squads then. There was only 3 people on the bench. There's only 3 people on the bench back then, guys. Only 3 people on the bench. My goodness me. England must do that German has done, stand in areas behind the goals. Also, we have a beer in the stand. Oh, yeah. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore, of course. Yeah, that has changed. Of course, but yeah, we don't have stands anymore. They're trying to change that at Old Trafford at the moment. They're trying to put stands now. At the end of the day, they are trying to put stands, of course. Power was given to the players, and look at us now. Too much power. Yeah, I agree, Irfan. I remember that West Ham game. Andy Cole missed some good chances to score. He just didn't want to go in the back of the net, Asian. And to be honest, there's a guy who was sitting there at the game. And to be honest with you, he just wouldn't go in the back of the net. We conceded the goal. Hughes of West Ham scored. And we missed chance after chance. Brian McClare equalised. And Liverpool had to get a result. They had to win. We had to bet our Blackburn score, basically. Liverpool won. Fair play to them. Jamie Redknapp scored in the last minute. They beat Blackburn 2-1. Blackburn took the lead. Alan Shearer. I think it was who was equalised. John Barnes equalised, didn't he? Was it John Barnes equalised? And then Jamie Redknapp scored. And then we just needed one goal and it wouldn't get in the back of the net. For some reason, Andy Cole couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and that was the problem. And I look back at that game now and I think, like, you know what? But I tell you one thing, guys, about that game, and I tell you right now, that made us. Let me tell you, like, guys, that game made us who we are. That game, well, one of the major reasons we brought through the likes of, the class of 92, the Paul Scholes, the David Beckhams, the Philip Neville's, the Gary Neville's. The main reason that we brought through these young players is because of what happened in 94, 95. We planned for the future. We were so ruthless. We let people like Mark Hughes go. You know what I mean? Paul Ince go. You know, we let people like that go. Unbelievable guts and courage. And to just bring in the young players like that, to do that and then win the double. You can't win anything with kids. We didn't. But you look at Cantona Keane and players like that, you know, Andy Cole, Ryan Giggs, Bruce, Schmeichel, Irwin, Parker. You look at that team, right, and you think, well, they got the basis there of a winning team and the players that have proven that they can win things. These days, there's no players in that team. When you bring the young players in, there's no players in that team who are experienced at winning anything major, like leagues, like Champions Leagues, things like that. Yeah, they can win the League Cup, the FA Cup. So can Wigan at the end of the day. There's no teams like, you know what, no players in that team that have that experience of winning major honours, of course. Darren, West Ham goalkeeper was outstanding. Yeah, West Ham, who was it? Was it McCloskey, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Who's the goalkeeper for West Ham that day? I can't remember the goalkeeper's name, but he turned into an absolute monster, an absolute brilliant. I think it was McCloskey. I think it was McCloskey. I think it was something like that. If I'm being honest, but you look at West Ham's team back then. They had like the likes of Don Hutchinson, Michael Hughes, and you know they had Tim Breaker, John Moncur. Players like that, do you know what I mean? Like not really household names, but they played like a bloody monster. They played like a monster, you know what I mean? And to be honest, they stopped us winning the league. Fair play to them. They did it. They stopped us winning the league, and that was what it was at the end of the day. Well, 3 players on the bench, you can only allow 3. So absolutely, there you go. There you go. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Back then, it was different gravy. They were built different back then. Absolutely. Sam, Mata, Jay Moorhouse, Malachi are nice in under 21s. Big up. Anybody have homemade remedy for boil? I'm suffering. Oh my goodness me. Irfan, my goodness. If you want young good as Babadi, I mean, listen, GK, we can go on FIFA all day and throw names out there. It's not constructive. We don't just throw names out there and sign players. This is the new generation sort of thing. We don't do that, GK. Fix up, man. I'm not interested. I was gutted Ince and Conchelsea's left and we didn't replace them. Fergie knew kids were world class. You have to exactly revert 7. I was gutted. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then after that Aston Villa game, when we won the game, we lost the game 3-1, sorry. We lost the game 3-1 and I thought we're going to have a nightmare. We ended up playing West Ham in the midweek, right? And even that was a difficult game. You know, we played West Ham in the middle of the week. We won 2-1 at Old Trafford. Who remembers that? We won 2-1 at Old Trafford, just about got through West Ham. But what really struck me in the class of 92 is when we played Blackburn Rovers away. We played Blackburn Rovers away and we won 2-1. If those people can remember, Beckham bent one in the top corner. That is when, after, you know, we started to think, maybe these players are not that bad. Because Blackburn were the champions, right? And then we started to think, maybe these players are not that bad. Let's see what goes on. And then we ended up going on this little run that went on and on and on. And then when Cantona came back into the side on the Liverpool game and the 2-2 game, if those who remember, it just sort of elevated us to a next stratosphere, you know, and all these players are already good. This team was already good. But then when we put Cantona in there with the young players, and he nurtured those young players, he taught those young players, it just got better, didn't it? It just got better and better. Absolutely. Guys, get well soon, fan, by the way. I'm off soon. Ill Smoke. Big up my friend Smoke. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Amram is getting rid of player SC. Anything else he does this season is a bonus, to be fair. It's called Suck Till the Summer. Big up Smoke. I agree, my friend. I agree. Hopefully we can do something. Hopefully we can win the league or something. No, not win the league. Sorry, guys. That's a little bit too confident. Hopefully we can, like, you know what, win the Europa League. And that, there you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Back in the day, you had one sub. Yep. There you go. These days, they got it easy, bro. They got it easy. Irfan, get well soon. Absolutely. Get well soon. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much, everyone who's joined me today. I'm off now. Thank you, everyone who's joined me. I will be back later on for Chatterbox. Don't forget to join me 2 p.m. UK time, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joined me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. And don't forget, take it easy, guys. You know what? Tottenham's around the corner. Come on, United. Let's do this. See you later. Take it easy, please.